At this moment, we can't seem to hear you.
Are you taking my audio from the stream itself? Consider that fixed. Consider that fixed. Right, can you hear me now?
Perfect. There we go.
All right. Awesome. So, how's everyone doing this late into the evening? I am d4gr0n, and this is Bucky O'Hare. Let's get a little sip of water. This game kind of got released in the late end of the tail end of the NES cycle, and this will be done on normal. So we'll get started in 3, 2, 1, go. So, during the time when Ninja Turtles was at the peak of its popularity, there was a whole bunch of sort of series that would come in its footsteps and be considered kind of rip-offs, if you will. One such series that was considered that was this one, which is called Bucky O'Hare. And it had a pretty short run for the TV series. It was only about 13 episodes long, but it did have its own game, which was actually developed by Treasure. The main goal here right now is, or the character I'm controlling here is Bucky. He is the captain of the crew that I lead, of which there are 5 members in total, and I have to go and rescue the other 4 because they've been captured and reside on 4 different colored planets. And we do each of these planets in a certain order because, or mostly due to the usefulness of certain members in the early game. In Green Planet resides Blinky, which is our robotic friend. He has the ability to break certain types of blocks, and this is actually pretty important in Blue Planet. So that second screen with the tree, that's actually one of the biggest run-killing screens, especially in hard mode. It's actually very easy to die. So, because this is on normal mode, we actually have value in that health bar you see in the bottom of the screen. But on hard mode, everything kills you in one hit, so there's actually no point in that health bar. And of course, as I say that, I die. So let's try that again. Oops. Alright, I'm gonna just take this a little bit easy now. I seem to have completely messed up the screen. Alright. Better safe than sorry. We got through it just fine. So here's the boss of Green Planet. He's actually completely invincible until he rams in this wall. This rock here that he throws is actually a one-hit kill as well. But of course, it's pretty easy to dodge, as you clearly can see there. And there you go. That's the first fight of the game. So, with Green Planet now out of the way, we now move on to Blue Planet. And on this planet resides Jenny, and we go to this planet because she is the OP boss killer in this run, and that is because of her powered up ability. So each of these characters that we have, they have a certain power up that you can charge by holding the fire button. Bucky has a high jump, and Blinky actually has a hover. But Jenny has a psychic ball of energy, and that is the reason why she is a gargantuous monster in terms of boss fights. So coming up is one of the most brutal screens on hard mode. This is an auto-scroller, and like I said, for hard mode, everything kills you in one hit. Of course, this is on normal mode, so this isn't nearly as stressful, but there's all sorts of things that are going on the screen. You have that jet kind of going right to left, and it's kind of making the platform disappear over the course of this auto-scroller, and it will keep doing this until there is basically nothing left for a platform. And what's especially nasty about this auto-scroller is that sometimes this platform I'm on will push me up into the air. And this actually prevents me from getting proper foot on the ground. So now I actually can take hits, as many hits as I want, because now the end of the auto-scroller has come. So yeah, this isn't a one-hit kill, but some things are, there are still some one-hit death hazards throughout this run, including the spikes, the ceiling spikes here. Very nice. And yeah, did miss that cycle. Kind of risky going for it, but usually it's pretty consistent. Gonna just power right through all these enemies. And now we're at the boss. So this is a pretty mass-centric boss. And this is also a boss where you're kind of fighting against time. He'll also freeze the... because as you can see, he's freezing the floor throughout the course of this fight. And if we're too high, I'll end up touching that spiked ceiling, and that is a one-hit death. Or that's a one-hit kill. But we made it out just fine. Alright, so I'm going to take off my headphones here, because I definitely need the audio from the main TV for this second screen coming up here. Red Planet is actually a very difficult planet, and despite how much I tend to struggle on hard mode, I actually consider this level harder on normal mode. And that is because of the setup for a death warp, which we'll get into when we get to that point. But first, we have this screen, and this is easily one of the hardest screens in the run. Oof, okay. I'm actually going to take this safe here. Probably better safe than sorry. Right, so now we're past that screen. We have this screen here, which is actually really no different from the difficulties, because these are all one-hit death hazards. And as long as I know the layout, I will be able to get through this relatively simply. Right, so now we're on to this particular screen. This is one of the tougher screens. I'm going to actually take a couple of hits there. And this is actually very important because, like I said, there is a death warp that we're going to execute. And we need to drain our health in order to accomplish it, because most things only do like one little bit of speck of life for damage. Having this much health to work with is totally fine, though, because this screen can be pretty awful. Pretty awful. Can actually take... Actually, gonna take a hit there. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna just wait. I was pretty late on charging that up. So now I've got the setup to actually go for the death warp. Let's see if we can get it. Looks good. There we go. And so I used that boulder to push my dead body all the way to the left side there, and it actually warped me a screen forward right to the boss fight. And now time to bear witness to the all-powerful Jenny as she completely obliterates that boss fight. That is her psychic ball of energy. It is actually very hard to control that. Very hard to control that. It may not have become too apparent on that fight, but it will on the next fight coming up on this planet, which is actually not very difficult level. Most of this is just going to be me damage boosting through everything here. These snakes here are completely invincible to everything. You can't actually kill them with any sort of weapon at all. So, in hard mode, we kind of have to resort to some baiting out its movement. But on normal mode, we're just going to take all this damage. You can see I took all that hits, and I'm still plenty of health left to go. Whoa. Whoops. Okay. That is a problem. Actually, you know what? I'm going to have to restart this level, because now I have to drain my health. I now have to actually drain all my health. Actually, maybe I might be able to. No, I probably don't think I'm going to be able to. Yeah, no, I can't. We're going to have to take an intentional game over and start this level again. I was not meant to fall off on this screen. So, sorry about that. It was definitely not what I intended to have happen. I held the wrong direction. I think I dropped down. Yeah, sometimes even... Oh, I actually have...
We are right. These things happen.
Yep. Alright. Actually going to... I'm gonna actually be very careful here. Gonna treat it kind of like hard mode. Alright, we got it. Okay. So, again, pushing Jenny's dead body right to the side actually works me as many as 3 screens forward, actually. And now we have the boss fight. Did not get the quick kill. Like I said, very difficult to control that psychic ball of energy. So, kind of unfortunate, but, you know, things like that are bound to happen. So, now that we're done with all 4 of the colored plants, we got all of our crew members back, but unfortunately the Toad Menace are hot on our trails once again, and they're going to capture our crew and send them all to jail. But unfortunately, the Toads are just a little bit dumb, and they actually put Blinky and Bucky in the same prison cell. And well, we know what Blinky's well known for at this point, so they're just gonna break out of prison. So the cell, still has a number of tricky areas, but thankfully on normal it's not quite as scary.
It's a good thing that the frogs decided to make the cell door out of something that was less strong than the roof and floor.
Yeah, absolutely. Alright, I'm gonna take this a little bit safe. Again, because I was forced to take that game over, I actually have my health pool reset down. So, I have a lot less health than I'm usually used to. So, this also means I can't really take much damage here. So, once again, gonna kind of just treat this like I'm in hard mode. Alright. That was actually well handled, given my situation. So yeah, this, the Air Marshal, or the Toad Marshal, kind of has this hypnotic beam that he is possessing the other cell members. So we're going to be spending this entire level just trying to break him free when we actually find them. And so we got Jenny now. Oh, I should also mention, to switch characters in this game, you just have to simply press the select button. Uh-oh. Surprised I actually missed that. But yeah, Cell is a little bit of a maze, so it's kind of pretty easy to lose track of where you are. Oh. I have to be pretty quick here. Alright, that was close, but we got him. And with that, Willy is free. So I guess I haven't really talked about, really that much about Willy and Deadeye. But their usefulness isn't really particularly noteworthy in the early game. But you'll see a fair bit of both of them get used in the remaining levels. That was really bad. Alright. Just gonna take that save. So now that we got Willy, last is Deadeye, and unfortunately... Come on. Break the block. Thank you. Sometimes that block's a little finicky. Unfortunately, though, before we actually get Deadeye, we have this extremely long auto-scroller. So, I don't know if anybody else has, like, I don't know, gonna want to advertise, you know, why we're here, why we're doing this marathon. Because this is probably gonna take at least a minute or two before we're through with this, and there really isn't much to actually explain here.
Advertising, you say? That's what I'm here for.
Alright.
So, first of all, the easiest thing that you could do to help support the cause is that social media incentive. We're still looking for a couple of retweets, so if you've got a Twitter account or social media or friends who have Twitter accounts, now would be a great time to start bugging them to give that a retweet. We're looking for 25, and we're really close to get a pair of cute shorts on ukulele. Not only that, but we're only $49 short of our Freedom Planet run with a Guitar Hero controller. So if you want to see someone do cool stuff with a guitar that you're not supposed to do, that'd be a great incentive for you to try to back.
Retweet, you say, huh? I actually haven't done that, so I'm gonna actually do that after this run.
How could you?
I know. Late. It's late. Technically, I'm usually not up this late, but, you know, I did it for you guys.
And the red pandas appreciate you for it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're now at the end of this auto-scroller. And here's Deadeye. Okay. So, now that we're done with the cell, I guess it's time to talk about Deadeye and Willy here. Deadeye has the ability to climb up walls. He's actually not really he's not a duck per se, he's a hybrid of a duck and a spider. Like, he's got multiple arms and he's able to climb up walls. And this is actually pretty useful tech in the upcoming couple of stages here. Willy has a powered up laser, which is actually really bad, but you will see it used at once in the run. But he will see his usefulness, particularly in the last level, which is a few levels from now. For the time being, though, we got Salvage Shoot here, and this is a pretty scary level. These things will kill me in one hit, so I have to be careful. These pinchers here, random if they are slow or fast. We got the slow pattern, which is really good. They aren't a one-hit kill here, but they do quite a bit of damage. Also, these bugs are completely indestructible. You cannot kill them with conventional weapons. But I do have a lot of health here, so I'm actually going to just bully my way through here. And now we have these slimes where if they latch onto you, they don't actually do damage, but they do weigh you down. And that's not good. Alright. That'll do. Now, this screen here is really difficult. Okay, we missed that guy, so we had to wait a cycle. Alright, we made it. And now, we're going to see Deadeye's... Well, you saw Deadeye's power a little bit earlier, but... It's actually faster to use it to climb up these walls as opposed to actually using Bucky. And now we have this section here where we can just run right underneath these guys. If you do go too low, though, you will drown out and die from that. And with that, we're on the boss. Where we once again are going to show the raw power of Jenny. Thankfully, despite the fact I say that Jenny is very broken against boss fights, she's actually not very useful in platforming sections, and that's because she's really tall, so she has a very huge hitbox, and that makes her a very big target to easily get hit by all sorts of things. Okay, so Magma Tanker. Magma Tanker's one of the hardest levels. Okay, got through that. That screen is really brutal. So is that one. I messed that up. Whew, that was close. Alright. So here, I want to try to mitigate damage here. And that's because of the next screen coming up. Little ways, though. This is actually a very long screen. Very nice. Actually utilizing Blinky there because he has a very small hitbox. So pretty much the opposite of Jenny in that regard. I'm just going to finish it off with Bucky here. And now, here's the screen that can cause quite a bit of problems. Alright, that's all the damage boosting I can take. Just going to jump over that last one. Whoops. Okay. Yeah. I'm just gonna... Well, I said I was gonna take it easy there, and then I jumped too early. Let's try that again. Come on. I'm getting stuck on the ceiling and walls there. There we go. And there is a fine example of why Deadeye is quite useful in late game. Easily the fastest character in getting up walls like that. Oh, come on. There we go. Alright, we want to switch to Bucky here. And this screen is very disorienting, but once you kind of know what to expect, it's actually not too bad. It's mostly just using Bucky because of his high jump. Particularly this one tends to be very tricky. Alright, that was pretty bad, but we should be able to kill this guy. And now we're going to finish this off with Deadeye. This screen here is really problematic. And that is because of these enemies that spawn right there at random. And they can just completely block off your jumps and make it so that you can't actually make them. And, yeah, that's a big problem. But made it through it just fine. And we're at the end of the screen, so they stopped spawning. And there's the only use of Willie's laser. You are never seeing that attack ever again for the rest of this run. Granted, though, we're pretty close to the end of the run. After this fight is one final level. And it's pretty much entirely an auto-scroller. And one thing in particular note with this auto-scroller is that we board a ship to escape the Toad Menace's ship. And on this ship, we can't actually load our powered-up attacks. So we can't use Bucky's high jump, we can't use Deadeye's wall climb, or Blinky's hover, and most particularly notable, we can't use Jenny's psychic ball of energy. So, unfortunately, Jenny is useless in this level, and we have to resort to other means to quick kill fights. Thankfully, there is a way, and to that, I say that finally, we come to the reason why Willie is the savior of this level. Everyone in this level does 1 damage, except for Jenny and Willie. But Willie has the ability of a, shall we say, a penetrating laser that actually goes straight through. It actually goes straight through all enemies, and this includes bosses, which means you have the ability to do double damage with it. And this comes particularly of use on the second last boss. There are 3 bosses in this level, and they go back to back to back. Which will be coming up here after this extremely speedy section here. Actually taking quite a bit of damage. That being said, all these characters kind of, well, most of these characters have a special type of shooting mechanic. You can kind of see Bucky, because he can't shoot in all directions like he normally can. He has the ability to shoot both backwards and forwards, and this comes particularly of use in certain situations during the end stretch here. So, but again, most of this is going to be abusing Willie's ability to do double damage. I'm not sure if he can actually do double damage on this fight, but it wouldn't surprise me if he does, particularly here, while this boss is going right. This fight is also really brutal on hard mode. You can totally box yourself in. I handled that fight really, really well. On normal mode, you just kind of have to stay sort of ahead of his movement pattern a little bit and have the laser constantly doing a stream of damage. Right. So, with that fight out of the way now, we have this fight. This is the fight I was talking about where double damage really comes into play. There is a quick kill associated with it. We cannot get it with anyone but Willie. But first we're going to kind of do a little bit of damage at the front here. Try and take out as many of these turrets as possible. Want to try to kill as many of them as possible in case we fail this quick kill. Very nice, we got the spot. So, I noticed a distinct flashing here. This is the key visual cue I know when I actually got the quick kill, or they got the sweet spot to get the double damage, and thus the quick kill. So, one more boss. And this boss is much easier than the other two in contrast. But you can take quite a bit of damage to him. You also do not want to take any hits from this thing falling behind us. I think it is a one-hit kill. Gonna just take this a little bit safe. Okay, just gonna... I think giving double damage to this guy is dependent on if you're hitting him while he's moving right. And there we go. That's it. That is the run. And that's time. So
Great run.
Yeah. Low 27 is actually pretty good. The world record is actually insane. Callum Ball has done incredible work on this game. And I particularly want to give just a very quick shout-outs to that man, because he's been very supportive every time I've tried to run this game, especially on hard mode. But yeah, that's gonna do for me for the time being. I guess what's up next? It's like 102 down.